So how did your wife feel about you speaking Ukrainian to the children?
Oh, she's the one that really supported this whole endeavor. The fact that I needed to speak to them in Ukrainian was paramountly important to her, for them to go to Ukrainian school, for them to go on Saturdays, and for them to go to Plast. She was very, very supportive. I couldn't ask for more support. Actually, she was pushing me, saying, "You got to do this. You got to do this." So yes, she was very supportive, and I don't know if they would have been so much involved in Ukrainian activities if she wouldn't have been that supportive. Because obviously, I worked. I was often outside of the house. I traveled a lot as an engineer for Alcan across the whole world, and also within the United States and Canada. So I wasn't home all the time, and that was specifically difficult, especially difficult for her because she had 3 young boys, and she had to deal with 3 young boys in a city where there's no family.
Did you grow up in a very religious or spiritual?
My mother and my grandmother were quite religious, Ukrainian Catholics. A lot of uncles on my mom's side were priests in Ukraine. I think 2 of my grandmother's brothers were priests. The family that I still have there is from a priest that was exiled, and they actually lived in Siberia for a while. There's 4 girls and a boy.
When you were asked to go to this seminary, did that seem just like a very natural thing for you to go, and you were immediately okay with it?
Yes, my mother talked with the local priest at one of the churches there to find out more about the seminary. He knew a little bit about what's going on there and how's the organization doing, and who goes there, and then I had a discussion with the priest, saying, is that something that you want to do? And he said, yeah, I would like to go to the seminary. So I went there for a couple of years, it was very, very, very interesting. I've learned a lot about the Ukrainians outside of just being around Montreal. I learned a lot about the Ukrainian customs, because over there, every sviato, was celebrated to the utmost, and I saw the metropolite there was right beside the seminary. So you had the Ukrainian university was right beside the Ukrainian seminary. So it was very interesting. But then after that, I knew that I want to pursue more how do you say that, a science degree or science direction. So I had to stop.
So you didn't really consider being a priest for very long?
No, I didn't consider being a priest. Although my mother said that, as a custom, the firstborns, in a lot of cases, the firstborns in Ukraine were devoted to priesthood.
So throughout most of your elementary and high school, you spoke French? You were in a French milieu?
Yes, I always went to French school. I never been to English school. My first year, when I first started school, first day of elementary school, I didn't know French very well because we spoke Ukrainian exclusively at home. I heard some English from time to time because my mother and my grandmother would speak to my father mainly in English, and he would speak to them mainly in English because he was in the process of learning Ukrainian, and she was in the process of getting familiar with French. So I heard basically Ukrainian and English. My father spoke to us in French, but we were not very comfortable with it until I went to school, and obviously we picked it up very quickly, and then French became second nature.
So how did your father learn Ukrainian?
Just, just by listening to my mother, my grandmother. My grandmother was a teacher in a school near Lviv, Sokolivka, and so she had tricks to teach people how to learn language. Mom also was helping out, and he was very, very keen on learning the Ukrainian language.